This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars Happy Hour is presented by Jet Home Loans. And now, a guy whose Jaguars parking pass has been allocated to the Romanians, J.P. Shadrick.
Welcome in. It is Jaguars Happy Hour, the first Monday show of the season at long last, presented by Jet Home Loans. We've got a busy 2 hours ahead. Here's what's coming up on the program today on this August 12th. Briscoe and Baselli are back. Despite our best efforts, they are back. Jaguars over the Chiefs in preseason week 1. Offensive standouts from the game. A new look defense debuted. Special teams made an impact all over the field. We'll keep it real. And Fanatics fan questions. That's all coming up. JP Shadrick with you. Tony Baselli, Hall of Famer, literally 10 seconds before the show, walks into the studio. He's here. He's on time. It's great to see you, Tony.
Well, why did you have to add the 10 seconds before?
I just wanted people to know the real you.
I mean, I was ready. I'm here. Got my coffee, got my water.
CBS Sports senior writer.
You were outside signing more autographs for more money, since that's all you do.
That's not true, Pete. That's not true. That is inaccurate. What's going on there, my little friend?
That's Pete Prisco, CBS Sports. Hello, Pete.
I was in town last week. I figured I'd bump into Tony, and no, he said Canton signing, and doing more signing.
Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
All right, first things first, I need that TV on over there or over there.
Wow, you come in firing shots. You just showed up 10 seconds before the show. Well, if you just showed up 30 minutes ago, maybe we could add something for you.
Well, I got Pete to my left, so if I want to see Pete's beautiful face, I got to look to the left, and then it looks terrible.
Look how tan that is. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, boy.
That's South Florida tan, baby.
Uh-huh.
Tony, by the way, I got to give you props because I'm skinny, but you're almost frail.
No, I'm stronger than I've been in a long time, Pete. I've been lifting weights. I've changed the game. It's not just about I'm not about weight loss. I'm about body composition.
Hey, just wait, Pete, until the Mr. Chubby's Wings hour in the second hour. They're here tonight too. They delivered.
I'm good.
Tony looks like he couldn't play tight end now. You gotta be. What are you, 220?
No, 240. Between I linger around between 240 and 245 on a daily basis.
That's nice.
Well, 60 pounds of that's your head. I mean.
Oh yeah, because you're very well proportioned. Let's not get into you.
Wow.
I mean, my goodness. I don't know if you saw Seth Payne's post on X.
We'll get to that a little bit later. Yes.
Somebody is a little short. I'm not going to say who.
Did you see that photo, though? I mean, that photo.
And you know what? As I age, I get shorter, I think.
That's how it works, right?
I'm shrinking.
That's okay, Pete. I still love you.
Well, I love you and your big head, too, so don't worry about it. JP, that's a whole other story.
Yeah, I have my moments with you, too, Pete.
Hey, Tony, we're starting off the season, and first thing I said to JP when I saw him in the media room, how much does your dad hate me now?
So the whole offseason, I don't think it's built up yet. We haven't even had a show yet.
Yeah, but we know that carries over, don't you think, Tony? It carries over.
Well, Pete, once someone doesn't like you, it usually does not change.
You're always starting with a deficit.
It does not change. Just before we get into football, because we haven't done this for a while, and I can't tell by the picture, are you still being healthy, Pete? Are you healthy, Pete, or fat and unhealthy, Pete?
No, I'm way down.
So you're not.
You noticed his camera shot like his shoulders up. He didn't want to show anything below that.
I'm down. I'm down a lot.
You're no longer as wide as tall.
No, I am not.
That's
Neither
good.
are you, by the way.
No, I tell you what, Pete did look pretty good the other day.
No,
I'm
being serious. Pete and I talk all offseason, mostly via text, and I worry about Pete's health. He's a friend. I want to make sure he's healthy.
Yeah,
I'm starting to worry. I'm sorry about worrying.
That even last season. I was good during the season.
You did good. Now, Pete, we might want to focus our attention on JP because I'm not sure if you've noticed.
What are you
Somebody
talking about, man?
is not taking their health seriously.
Shape. What are you talking about?
No, you're a shape.
I've been worse.
You definitely have a shape.
I've been a whole lot worse.
So Tony, the two older guys, Grandpa me and then Grandpa number 2 you better than younger Buck here.
Yes, I think it's because we started seeing the end. We said,
I'm still living a different lifestyle than you two. I think.
You know what? I might be the older one here, but if you count your years in football years, you're much older than me.
Yeah, so. I think you start seeing the end. You're like, I might want to do something about this before it gets too much more out of control. I tell you
what, though, I come into town, I notice all over town, guys have lost a ton of weight. Hacker.
Yes.
Dempsey, Matt Hayes. Dempsey, Matt Hayes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unreal.
It's good. I mean, listen, you got to take care of yourself. The first thing to do.
Do you even eat anymore?
Yeah, I eat. Oh, yeah.
He starves himself.
I
day.
eat a lot of heavy protein, lifting weights, heavy protein.
You don't look like you're lifting weights. That's why I don't think so.
Okay, I'm lying because I'm.
Well, there's no muscle definition.
I mean, you want me to take the shirt off, Pete? I will take the shirt off.
Really?
God,
No.
Pete, you can see the six-pack is there.
No.
You know what's weird is I haven't had any sort of abs in my entire life.
Neither have I. It's the first time at 52 I got abs. I'm like, where'd these come from?
I actually have like remnants of them.
I do too.
I don't know how the hell it's happened.
Pete, I am 52 years old. Never in my life have I seen even like the starting like definition of an ab.
Me either.
And I'm like, my wife, she's like, my goodness, you got a 4-pack for sure. The 6-pack's coming in. I'm like, that's right, baby.
But you get to certain points.
That's right.
You got to stop though. You get to a point and you become obsessive and you got to stop.
Pete, what are you doing on a daily basis? What's your regular routine?
Well, I'm working out every day a lot, but I don't eat much either. So I'm way down. A lot of protein, like Tony said.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing, is, I went and saw my doctor. When I see the doctor, he told me I actually have to start lifting weights more because you get older and your bones become frail.
That's right. They do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm feeling good, Pete.
I'm going to make it through fat ball season. No, I did it last year. I'll do it again. I'm not going to get. You got to do it, or else, again, like Tony said, the end is near.
Clock's ticking.
The clock's ticking. It's ticking faster, Pete. It goes faster every year.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't seem like the season just ended.
I'm like, wait a second. Like, my wife, I'm like the season's here, which means, in my world, this is how it's always been. Once the season's here, it's over. Because you blink, you wake up, and it's like Christmas, playoffs, done. It's like, holy cow.
I always used, life goes fast. Like Tony said, as you get a little older, it goes faster. But I always said, if life went as fast as a football season did, we'd all be dead in about 5 years. It goes so fast.
It does.
It certainly does.
But that's because it's so much fun. I mean, the exciting thing, we're getting ready to kick off here, and we had first preseason game with the Jags against the Chiefs. This is the most fun time of the year. Getting into September, the fall, change of the weather, football, and now it's like all day Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday. I mean, it's like then you get late in the season, you get Saturday games, and it's all consuming. And I saw the best thing I've seen. It was either on Instagram or X. I can't remember which one. But it was a little parody, and basically it was a husband sending his wife a 2-week notice. Basically saying, this is your 2-week notice that starting on September X, every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. I will be unavailable for any housework from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Mondays. And it was great. It was such a.
It's amazing. It's amazing so true. The way the league is too, Tony. It's going to be every day.
Yeah, the only day they don't have a game is Tuesday because they have Christmas Wednesday games this year.
Yeah, and college football on Saturday year-round. I mean, it's nonstop. It's unreal.
It is. It is from a sports culture standpoint, it is our religion. It is what is this time of year. It owns the TV, the radio, the internet. I mean, if you're a sports fan, it's all football all the time. And Pete, I know you and I know JP's the same way, and we love it because we love the game of football. It's a great game. It's great to cover. It was great to play. And I am looking forward to 2024. And I think it has the potential, and we'll talk about this tonight and all through the preseason as we lead up to opening day down in South Florida. Are we going to see you down in South Florida, Pete, opening day?
I'll come. I'm not going to be at the game, but I'll come by the hotel.
Yeah, let's plan on dinner Saturday night.
Wow.
We'll go to dinner.
Wow, how about that?
Maybe we'll do a little show dinner. Oh, you're not there.
I mean, enjoy. Tell me how it is, guys.
Me and Pete will do a show dinner.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, you're welcome.
Appreciate
You'll be invited, but won't be there.
Yeah, probably not.
But, we'll talk about all the lead up to that game, and there's a lot of things that need to happen, can happen, and we'll talk about all that. But, boy, I'm excited about 2024.
Guys, before we dig into this preseason game, we got the rest of the show for all that and the first kind of look at this team. This was obviously a huge offseason for the organization, both in the personnel side and outside of football as well. We start with the cornerstone payouts to big-time players, the quarterback, defensive end, cornerback, all getting multi-year extensions this offseason. And then, of course, the stadium deal going through the city council still has to be approved by the ownership. That's a lot going on in one offseason, Tony, and it seems like a monumental foundation piece for this franchise moving ahead, both sides.
Yeah, I think the way I look at it this offseason, like the stadium stuff, set that aside. Like it's almost, let me say it this way, there's like 3 buckets of big things that happened this offseason. The stadium was huge, and we'll talk about what that means and how I'll give you my opinion, how I feel about it, what it means for the future of this franchise, but much bigger than the future of this franchise, because this franchise was going to have a future regardless. But what it means and the impact it can have in our city and what it means for the next 30 years, which I'm super excited about. And then as I think about the offseason on the football side, I kind of break it down into 2 categories. Player acquisition, so what they did in free agency and the draft. And I think we should spend some time, at least a segment, talking about that and what we thought at the moment and how we think it's played out so far during camp. And then the second bucket of this offseason was locking up foundational players for the long term. Because I think that's different. It's something we have not done very well because we haven't had those type of players through the draft lately. But we locked up 3 guys, and give Shad Khan credit because he wrote the checks to a lot of money, a lot of guaranteed money. And I love what we did there, and we can dive into it even deeper because you have to set the foundation of who you want to be at key places. And the 4 premium positions in the NFL today are quarterback, first and foremost. I'm going to say your offensive line, and I think it's your 2 tackles would be the highest premium. I don't think there's a difference in today's NFL between left and right tackle because of how people are rushing the quarterback. You have premium rushers on both sides. And then your corner. Pass rusher, and then corner. So pass rusher, obviously Josh Allen, and then corner.
You got to add the big play receiver to it too.
Yeah, Pete, we could discuss that. Obviously, you want a big play receiver. There's no doubt about that in today's passing league. But I still think those other 4 are more important because if you have a
if you count the entire offensive line, then no doubt about it.
Yeah, because if you have a quarterback and you can protect the quarterback,
right,
then you can do a lot of things in offense. Those 2 things, because you can have the best premium receiver, if you can't protect,
true,
you're going to struggle.
But if you don't have if you have a good offensive line and you have a good quarterback, but you don't have the stretch the field guy, you're going to be limited in what you can do. I'm talking about the number 1 down the field guy. So
New England would disagree with you for about 20 years of Tom Brady and a solid offensive line and a great offensive line coach.
Okay, well now you're comparing Trevor Lawrence to Tom Brady.
I'm not doing that. My point, Pete, is I still.
There's our headline right out of the gate.
Baselli says.
Isn't it amazing how he twists no matter what I say? Yeah,
I heard it myself.
It's a great talent that Pete has. It's a great talent. He can take anything I say and make it whatever he wants it to be.
Hall of Famer, says Lawrence.
I love it.
I get what you're saying, but there are outliers on the whole.
Yeah, there's always
and Tony, and it was different in most of his era too. You would agree with that. The rules have mandated where the big play wide receivers become much more valuable than he used to be.
I would say the big play wide receiver is like the running back was when I played. Like
maybe even more value. Yeah, even more value.
Maybe, but remember back when especially early in my career, Pete, it was if you have a quarterback, a big offensive line, and you can control the line of scrimmage, and then you have that explosive back, you are really tough to beat. It was like that was Tom's formula. Let's run the ball, not turn it over, play smart possession football, and play good defense. I mean, that was really. Now we ended up getting Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardell. Sorry, Keenan McCardell.
Nice to know you remember.
I remember. You stop. Keenan McCardell, and you have two guys outside.
You did it again.
I did not.
Unbelievable.
Yes, you did.
You played with the guy for how long?
I'm done.
That's incredible.
Keenan.
I mean, not even the first segment's over, Pete. We already got one.
No.
Two guys on that team. It wasn't like he was a stiff at the end of the bench. How do you not know his name?
I do know his name. I first of all, I corrected myself, and then you got all over me, and I got flustered. I'm going to be honest with you. I got flustered.
Hey, did I get all over him?
Yes, you did.
Try it again.
McCardell.
Okay, there we go.
Nice. Let's come back.
I know Keenan very well. McCardell, I know him too.
we got to finish this thought a little later.
No, but I'm saying we'll go deep into it. But I think as you talk about the offseason, my broader point, before I butcher anything else, is I think you have to look at these in three distinct manners because they're all different.
We'll get to those.
There's some theory that the quarterback deal getting done when it did was kind of tied to that stadium deal a little bit. Did you? Yeah, you notice how it happened? Like it happened.
I don't think so.
4 days before the vote. Well, he was going to get it anyways, but the fact that he got it before the vote, you don't think there's something?
I think both were going to happen independently of each other.
I'm glad. Let's put it this way. I'm glad the stadium's staying there because I think that team. I've said it for years and years. I've defended that city so many times. It belongs in Jacksonville.
Let's come back in a moment. We'll get to Saturday night's preseason Week 1 win. The Jaguars knock off the world champion Chiefs. Preseason
that's a great exit there.
Jags fans want customized Jaguars furniture for your home? Check out zipchair.com and browse all customizable options. ZipChair, furniture for fans. We'll hear from Doug Peterson, Trevor Lawrence, Josh Hines-Allen. Plenty ahead. In the second hour, we'll have your social media questions, the Fanatics fan questions, and keep it real. We are off and running for the first time in 2024. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
You love free, and at Ameris Bank, so do we. That's why we're proud to offer worry-free, hassle-free Ameris Bank free checking. Manage your money your way with convenient access to digital, mobile, and telephone banking, all with no monthly service fee or minimum balance requirements. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. For more information or to open an account, visit our local bankers in person or online at amerisbank.com/free checking. Other fees such as overdraft fees may apply. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Are you ready to love how you feel, look, and live in every season? At Elase, we offer more than just luxury med spa treatments. We provide a serene, judgment-free space where you can reconnect with the best version of you. Whether you want to refresh your natural look with Botox or Dysport, pamper yourself with a relaxing hydrofacial, or rejuvenate your complexion with laser resurfacing, our expert team in Jacksonville is here to tailor treatments to your needs. Visit Elase.com today and start your journey to loving yourself.
We're excited to announce a special activation at select training camps. Join us as we celebrate the Corner at Deb Store, coming soon to the Eastside community. Operated by Goodwill Industries of North Florida, the Deb Store will help change lives in the historic Out East through fresh foods, education, and career opportunities. In partnership with various community partners, this project will create a space where residents can thrive. Watch out for the Deb Store van at select training camps this July and August, where you can enjoy free samples and learn how to support this initiative.
And I think that's what you're seeing out there in practice. It's what I'm seeing anyway. And then tonight, with so many guys playing in this game, there wasn't really a drop-off, you know? Because sometimes when you get out of that first, second unit, sometimes there's a letdown or a drop-off with play, and I didn't see that tonight. Our guys played fast, they played hard. Were there mistakes? Sure, there were mistakes and MAs and things like that we can clean up this week. But I think top to bottom, the guys played, credit to them. They played fast and they played physical.
It's head coach Doug Peterson after the game Saturday night, a win over the Chiefs preseason week 1. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans. We're on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. Hit us on X as well, at JP Shadrick, at Tony Baselli, at Prisco CBS. We'll get to your Fanatics fan questions in the second hour. And boy, was X a buzz today with the show coming back.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Should I do my first lock of the year?
Oh, early lock, Pete.
Oh, I thought you locked the Chiefs game last week.
Well, it's a preseason lock. We're going to go undefeated in the preseason.
Who cares?
Well, I know no one cares, but I'm stealing this from Logs. This is Logs' insight. He's right.
Is it an original lock?
No, it's not. It's a stolen lock. And it made me think when Doug said that he didn't see a drop off from first, second, third unit, and I would agree with him as far as how the defense functioned.
Okay.
And a lot of that on the offense side of the ball is because usually your third quarterback is some rookie who doesn't even know which way's up or down.
Yeah, but these guys
and we have 3 veteran quarterbacks. Yeah. So in the preseason, you have Trevor Lawrence, you're gonna have Mac Jones, former first rounder, took a team to the playoffs, and C.J. Beathard, who's won football games and played a lot of snaps in this league and understands the offense. And so you're not going to, offensively, you're going to be able to function throughout the entire game, which gives you a huge advantage over a lot of the teams you're playing. That's why.
Yeah, it makes sense because most teams have Nathan Rourke.
That's right. You have a guy that you're just maybe trying to hide.
To Nathan Rourke.
None at all.
Right.
But you know what I mean, Pete. So it's a dumb lock, but I thought it was interesting.
It is a dumb lock.
It's a dumb lock.
I'm glad you admitted it.
But I thought
here's the question about those 3 quarterbacks too.
Yeah.
How's the competition? Who do you think ends up number? Mac Jones has to be number 2.
Yes.
Oh, it's not even really. Yeah, it's not.
I don't think it's.
I don't even think it's a thing.
I don't think it's a competition.
Shouldn't be.
I don't think it is, Pete.
You don't trade for a first-round quarterback.
Do you keep all 3 of them?
Yeah, I think CJ's on practice squad with the new practice squad rules. You put him on there.
Yeah.
I think it's clear. There's no.
Yeah,
why would they make that move for him to be a question mark?
Well, and I give Mac Jones a ton of credit because I was not crazy about the trade at the moment because, everyone's like, oh, you worried about the competition with Trevor? No, I'm not worried about the competition with Trevor. What I was concerned about, because I don't know Mac Jones. I know he's a Jacksonville kid. I've never met him. I don't know his personality. I didn't know how he'd handle it. But Pete will attest to this. There's certain guys in this league that get drafted high. They feel like they're a starter. They get traded. And they have the mentality I'm going to get that job. It's my job. And the last thing I thought this place needed is a guy coming in as the backup, not knowing his role. And that backup's role is to support our franchise quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. And just not knowing the dynamics and the personality of Mac Jones. I've been so impressed with Mac Jones about how he's approached it, his energy, just, I thought he was always a good quarterback. I mean, he proved that in New England. I thought he got a raw deal in New England when Bill Belichick decided to take a defensive coordinator and make him the offensive line coach and a special teams guy to make him the offensive coordinator. That's a tough situation to operate in if you're Mac Jones. But I was always impressed with him, and I'm even more impressed now just because how he's handled the situation, energy at practice, understands his role, And
well, too, Tony, some guys are just meant to be backup quarterbacks in the NFL.
I don't think
it's okay. It's okay.
It is okay. I don't think that's Mac Jones. I actually think Mac Jones is a starter in this league.
Where though? Well, I mean, where, like know. How? He's in Jacksonville. He's not starting there.
Well, but
you know how it goes. Like some guys might get hurt later in the year, and then the deal and anything.
I'll give you a perfect example, Pete.
He was available for anybody for anything but a 4th-round pick, right?
Hold on, Pete.
It's the last year of his deal as well. So
Pete, this is how I think about it. I'm not saying this is going to happen. Mac Jones comes in, has a good preseason, which he's kicked it off having a good preseason, and is the backup all year. Let's hope that he doesn't have to play one snap outside of coming up to maybe we're up by 50 and he comes up and whatever. But hopefully he doesn't have to play meaningful snaps because that means Trevor's healthy the whole year. And now he's a free agent. And you know this league, Pete. You're telling me there's not going to be a couple teams that are looking for a quarterback, and on that scouting staff there's somebody who loved Mac Jones coming out of college and they say this guy's a starter, and they'll put on his tape from his first year with Belichick and a good coordinator, seeing that they took him to the playoffs, and they say, you know what? We can go get this guy and pay $15 million or $12 million, and he can be our starter, and maybe he blossoms into no different than Baker Mayfield. I mean, look at Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, right.
Baker Mayfield signed a prove-it deal with the Buccaneers and ended up playing at a level, taking that team to the playoffs, where he got a franchise deal. I could see that happening with Mac Jones, and if that happens, Pete, guess what the Jags get? They get a compensatory pick because he gets signed by another team as a free agent.
No, I see it in theory. First off, I don't think does Mac Jones have that chip on his shoulder like Baker does?
I think he does.
Well, I think he looks happy to be the backup in Jacksonville. He looks like a happy kid. You're right. He's bought into it, and he looks content and happy.
I think
the pressure's off.
I think he's happy because he is in a situation that's stable. He can grow as a player. He can play a role. I think he's a high-energy guy by nature, and I think he's coming with a great attitude because I think he knows if he does a good job, this is his best path of getting an opportunity to be a starter again.
Was Blaine ever a starter again? He wasn't, was he?
No.
He was always a backup. Sometimes you're just a backup, and he made a long career out of being a backup. It's okay.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. My point is I still think Mac Jones can be a starter in this league.
And I'm going to play devil's advocate on it. He was available for anybody who wanted to give up, say, a 3rd-round pick to make him the starter. Nobody did, right?
Who says he can't improve from that, though, and move up and on? You never know how he can play. He can play himself out of that stuff.
Yeah, I just think so. Look, he wasn't very good when he played after the first year. He was okay.
But would you agree that the circumstances...
That was a bad situation.
Yeah.
It was a bad situation. I'm not going to defend that situation one bit. Not at all. But he was awful in some games, Tony, with a capital A. I mean, he was bad. And sometimes I think you get all the pressure off of you and you become a backup quarterback. And you can stay in the league a long time and become a backup quarterback. It's okay.
It's Jaguars Happy Hour. Pete Prisco, Tony Baselli, JP Shadrick. Quickly, how did Trevor Lawrence look to you the other night overall?
Outstanding.
2 drives.
I mean, small sample size. I thought he was outstanding. He did exactly what you wanted him to do.
What did you think of the sack on 4th down? Because Ingram came open on his pivot route late, but by that time there was pressure kind of pushing him to the left, and he kind of dropped his head down a little bit. If he stays there and throws it, that's a completion for 1st down.
Yeah, I mean,
that was my only knock on him, and I'm being nitpicky. But
yeah, I mean, I think if I wanted to be nitpicky on that play, maybe he can hang in there half a tick longer and get it to Ingram for the 1st down. Maybe the other thing he could do is he scrambled those right. I thought, maybe it was Kirk or someone who was coming open late on the crosser, real late, and maybe he could just throw it up. because it's fourth down. You throw it down deep in the field.
You can't take a side. You can't take a side.
I mean, so that's the only nitpicky. But in that situation, really what I wanted him to do, Pete, if I'm being completely honest, fall down and don't get hit. Because I don't care if we pick up fourth down or not. I don't want my franchise quarterback getting hit in the preseason.
Well, then why the right side of the line break down on that play?
I think that was on the interior of the offensive line. It came across. I think it came across. I think it might have come across the center.
I thought it was the right guard, but I'll be honest with you. I did not go back and watch the tape in detail.
I watched it. I got to remember what it was. But here's the other thing. The throw we made to Gabe Davis in the middle of the field was what was missing a year ago in a lot of situations. That one right there.
And by the way, Pete, if you go back and look at that.
Left, opens to his left, it comes back to the middle. I loved it.
And watch him hanging in there because he gets pressure in his face and gets hit as he's throwing it.
That's the throw. When last year, when we'd sit here and we'd say he wasn't pulling the trigger on those throws, he was bailing. That's the throw right there.
Yeah. And I wonder, do they have the 4th and 5? We're watching the same play over and over again, which is exciting.
About the
4th and 5 where
no, it doesn't have it.
Don't have it.
I remember. I think it came. Maybe it's either Sheriff or Morse. I think it was. Let him through.
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought Trevor was fine. What you wanted out of that first preseason game, I thought the whole offense was fine. They got the short field with. I mean, the MVP of the whole game was Parker Washington. Holy cow!
He looks like a different guy, even running his routes.
Well, he's a different guy in camp, Pete. He's had a great camp.
Yeah, Trevor talked about that going into the game, actually, about how Parker's really improved, and it showed.
I mean, my goodness, I'm like, is this the same guy we had last year? Yeah. I mean, he looks great.
Yeah, he looks like a pro.
Yeah, he does, and I give him credit because I mean, Pete, we've talked about this for years. The biggest step you want to see that big jump from your rookie to second year, because a lot of guys struggle as rookies, and you don't want to make a judgment just based on their rookie year. The judgment is, okay, how do they progress from that rookie year to that second year? Now that they're a pro, they have a year in the system, they understand the system, they're in the offseason program, they get stronger, they do all the things, they mature, and by all signs and all indications, Parker Washington did his job this offseason and prepping himself, being ready. He's had a great camp. The book coming on him out of college he's dynamic like a running back after he catches it. He's not like a super fast straight line guy. That's not what he's known for. He's a change of direction, powerful runner.
You saw that on the kickoff return.
You saw that firsthand on that dang kickoff return to start the game. I'm like, holy cow, he looks like a running back with the ball.
He's the only one who's done anything with that kickoff crap.
We'll get to that quote kickoff crap a little bit later.
I want to pay off the tease we talked about. Let's talk about the offseason in the next segment.
Okay.
At some point we talked about it.
Yeah, we should, because there's a lot.
There's a lot there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And we haven't been on since the offseason.
We have not. We've got a little defensive talk to go also.
Let's go. Should we go offseason and defense, or defense and offseason?
I'll tell you what, if you showed up more than 10 seconds before the show, maybe you could produce some segments.
It wouldn't be as fun if I did that. It's more fun doing it this way.
That's fun?
I think so.
I'm having a load of fun.
I do. I like jumping around too. Tony's right. JP likes the structure, Tony. He likes, I got to have this in this segment, that and that segment. Me and you go off the rails and he can't handle it.
JP's a buzzkill. He ruins it.
Is that what I am? Really? Amazing. Wow. Hey, sign up your furry friend for the Jaguars official four-legged fan club for pets. Presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital, your pet will receive access to exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the 2024 season. Visit jaguars.com/promotions/four-legged fan club and sign up today. We're back in a moment with whatever the heck these guys want to talk about. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market, because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinders home. How about 2.99% in year one in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year one and a beautiful new Dreamfinders home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
For us, treating cancer is personal. We're Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center, and we know that every patient is unique. So you'll have a plan created by world-renowned doctors and tailored to your needs. And everyone here will support you every step of the way, so you're physically, emotionally, and spiritually strong for the journey. Don't face cancer with anything less than the team at Baptist MD Anderson. Locations in downtown, Baptist South, and Clay. Visit BaptistMDAnderson.com.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with EverBank. Open an EverBank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. EverBank. Advantage you. Member FDIC. And the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We're excited to announce a special activation at select training camps. Join us as we celebrate the Corner at Deb Store, coming soon to the Eastside community. Operated by Goodwill Industries of North Florida, the Deb Store will help change lives in the historic Out East through fresh foods, education, and career opportunities. In partnership with various community partners, this project will create a space where residents can thrive. Watch out for the Deb Store van at select training camps this July and August, where you can enjoy free samples and learn how to support this initiative.
Jacksonville builders score big with DL Cabinetry. As the official cabinet supplier of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they offer top quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry for any project. Enjoy fast turnaround, complimentary design, and great prices. Visit dlcabinetry.com today to learn more and to become a dealer. Limited spots available. DL Cabinetry, the winning choice for builders.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
It's very deep, very talented. Trying to figure out, who our rush group is. We don't even have everybody. Eric's not even back yet. So you add him in the mix. You see O out here having a field day. You got Roy. Even Ham can push that pocket a lot. So we just got guys that can play all over the field. And, it's going to be a fun year to rush the passing ball.
Josh Hines-Allen during the game broadcast Saturday night. And welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, first Monday show of the season, presented by Jet Home Loans. We're at the Hyundai Studios, the Miller Electric Center. Well, two-thirds of the show is. JP Shadrick, Tony Baselli here in Jacksonville. Pete Prisco down in South Florida.
You know what we need to do one Monday, Pete? We got to organize it where you come up and do the show from here on a Monday. And I know that's hard for you because your schedule's crazy.
It's impossible.
Even in the preseason, before the season starts?
It's impossible.
So then we could go out and get a big steak dinner afterwards, me, you, and JP.
Yeah, I like that.
That'd be good. We could have done it on the day I came into town, but you weren't there. You were signing autographs somewhere for more money.
I was not signing autographs. I was in Canton at the Hall of Fame weekend.
By the way,
I saw you at the ceremony sitting sloughed over all, like ready to get out of there.
That was a long day because of the weather delay. Holy cow.
Yeah, that's right. You heard from Josh Hines-Allen, of course, the big contract in the offseason. And this kind of leans into the defensive performance the other night. Saw some new faces for the first time. They did a lot of business on that side of the ball this offseason. Josh was obviously the biggest piece of that. They extended Foye Aluakin as well, linebacker. They, in free agency, picked up Darnell Savage and Ronald Darby, a couple of veteran players in the league. And then in the draft, a couple of corners come in, Jarian Jones, DeAndre Prince. Yeah, they were busy this offseason on the defensive side of the ball.
I mean, the biggest
and new scheme as well.
Well, they got Armstead.
And Armstead. You got Armstead too.
He's on PUP, hasn't practiced yet, but they're leaning towards the Atlanta game week, getting him ready to go.
And Mason Smith, the second rounder, from LSU.
That's right.
Did you mention him?
I did not. Yes,
yeah, I think
part
that's
of that too.
Big signing. The big news is locking up Hines Allen, for a long-term deal, solidifying that. And I think having him, number one, bringing Ryan Nielsen in, going to a 4-3, I thought our personnel fit 4-3 better than 3-4. Just because Hines Allen and Walker, the two of them, are defensive ends in my book. They're not outside linebackers that you want to drop. I mean, come on. I mean, those guys are hand in the ground, get after the quarterback, big physical guys. They both put on weight. They both look great coming into camp. And so I think that's a super positive. Armstead, we'll see. Hopefully he's healthy coming off surgery in the offseason. And then you talked about the back half. Locked up Tyson Campbell, who I think is going to excel in this scheme. He's a long guy who can run. They're going to play a lot more aggressive coverage, a lot of man in Ryan Nielsen's defense. So I like that quite a bit. They added a bunch of young guys. It'll be interesting to see who's in the secondary besides Tyson. I mean, if we're guessing, obviously Cisco's had a great camp so far. I think he's the next guy.
Darby will be one corner too.
I think you're right, Pete. I don't doubt that. My guess is Savage is going to be your nickel. Once he gets healthy,
That's weird to me. That one's weird to me.
He played a lot of nickel in Green Bay.
I know, but when you play him at nickel, I think you can get him with shifty, smaller receivers. I think that's a problem there.
We'll see. He played a lot of that at Green Bay. He played more. I thought he played more nickel than safety at Green Bay.
And then Johnson will be the other safety.
Antonio Johnson will be the other safety. So, and then you got all the young guys you talked about. The other interesting thing on defense, Ryan Nielsen's come in, flipped Aluakon and Lloyd, Devin Lloyd. Devin's going to be the Mike linebacker. Foye will still have the green dot. He'll still call the defense, but he's going to be in the will.
That's because Aluakon runs better. That's what that is. Coverage.
I don't think he runs better, Pete. I think he's better in coverage because he's so precise in everything he does.
Yeah, maybe, but he also looks like he runs a little bit better. I think going straight forward, I think Lloyd's good. I think turning and running is a problem for him sometimes.
Okay.
What did you think of the run play when he jumped through the run fit the other day on the big run? That was on him.
Well, it started up front. They got washed. They got washed 3 gaps. And so now, and
Walker almost made the play coming down from the end.
Yeah, but they got washed quite a bit. And then where Devin went, he got covered up by the line guy who had a free release up from the line of scrimmage. So
I love what they've done on defense. I think they're bigger, they're tougher, they're more physical. I think that matters. And you mentioned it, Tony. I talked to Hines Walker. I had him in an interview. And
Hines Walker? I'm sorry. Who's Hines Walker?
Do we sign somebody new?
Hines Allen. I'm sorry. Well, see, I combined the two of them for 40 sacks this year. No, you were right. Tony was right. We got to give him credit for that too. I don't want to give him credit for it, but he was right.
Yeah, he got a lock right. He did.
Yeah, I talked to him, and he's big. He says he's so much bigger. He feels so much more comfortable going forward. And like we talked about that all last year, don't you? His best football is played going forward. Why the hell did they have him dropping into coverage all the time? And same with, not all the time, but same with Walker. But I did ask him, JP.
Yeah. You
were right. I asked him about the motivation for not being a game wrecker, and it was on his phone. He said he admitted to it, and he had it on there for a while. So, like I told him, I said I'm his life coach. I got him straight, and the way I look at it, I didn't tell him this, but maybe he should send me a little bit of the cut for that check. Maybe
shocking.
Maybe
Shocking. Pete thinks he should get paid for doing nothing.
For criticizing
players. For just being a loudmouth, he wants to get paid.
But the funny thing about that is I got blamed for the lack of the game record talk. I was not alone on that one. Baselli was right there with me.
Yeah, that's true. I think we were all pretty much in agreement.
Oh yeah, and listen,
at that point,
they
had to go prove it.
I'll be honest. I would tell Josh this. Josh is a friend of mine. We have a great relationship. I love him. Loved him last year before he had 17.5 sacks. I've always thought has the ability to be the dude, that guy. But me believing it. It's like Trevor. I think Trevor's can be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Me thinking that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You got to go do it on the field. Trevor needs to do that. I believe he will. I thought Josh Hines-Allen had that ability. He had not done it yet, and he did it.
Is he game wrecker now?
When you have 17.5 sacks, Pete, yes.
Yeah, but remember the 3 he had in the first. I told him this too. The 3 he had in week 1 don't count.
No, but two of them maybe not. But he had a bunch of rushes. But here's the other thing, Pete.
I think he's gonna be better.
He also had one of the highest pressure percentages. I mean, so
I think he's going to be better in this defense even than he was a year ago.
I do too. My assessment of him is not just the 17.5 sacks. Go look at his win rate and his pressure rate.
Right.
It was one of the best in the NFL. So
Right.
that's not.
And I think he's going to be even better. So yes, to answer the question, I think he is a game wrecker.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Now the question becomes: does the other guy become a game wrecker on the other side?
Well,
he closed the season pretty good, right?
Well, but he's not. I mean, again, the same criticism we had in the beginning of last year, we were having at the end of last year. We're rushing smack dab into the chest of the offensive tackle, and but from talking to people when I was up there, and you guys have watched more practice than me, he's improved in his hands and his ability to bend a little bit more and be better with his pass rush. And I only was there one day and it looked that way, but I just the people I talked to, they said that's been accurate.
Well, and I think you have to look at Trayvon. What kind of rusher is he going to be? He's a power player. And so if you're looking for the really slick, Myles Garrett, I think he's the best pass rusher. I think he's the best defensive end in football, in my opinion, right now. And so if I watch Myles Garrett can power you. He has great hips. He can turn the corner. He can dip. He can use his hands. He's the best right now. If I look at Trayvon Walker, who has a build, not identical, but he's like a presence with length and size and strength and speed. I don't know if he has the mobility and the movements of the hands and hips. The
twitch.
Well, it's not just the twitch. It's just the hips too, where he's going to be that style of rusher. What I think he is developing into that power rusher who gets you leaning and they can work the edges because you're so afraid of his power.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out who is he like? It's hard because those twitchy, smaller, explosive guys you can kind of compare guys to. But where are the big power rushers, Tony? If you think back in history, where are the big power? How big was Strahan when he played? Was he a big power rusher? He was.
He played on the left side, Pete. So the only time I ever blocked him was in the Pro Bowl. So you have to ask Cersei that.
But what about you guys when you played against big power rushers that would be comparable?
I'll give you an interesting comparable that a lot of people don't remember. You do, Pete. Is Sean Jones?
Yes.
Sean Jones was when I played him.
Taller. He was taller.
Not much taller. Yeah. When I played him in 1995, the first game when we played him on Sunday night in Green Bay. He came in, I think, with 107, 108 sacks. That's a lot.
Wow.
And I remember playing him, and I was never worried about him beating me athletically per se, like speed
but he was 6'7".
Yeah, 6'7", 275.
Yeah, Trayvon's 6'5", 6'6". He's long.
Yeah.
But Sean Jones had power. And he could lean on you, and then if he got you leaning, he'd work the rip move, or he could get you off balance. And so that's the type of player, this guy's a Hall of Famer, but remember Chris Dolman, Pete? He was a big, powerful, heavy-handed hump move, rip move, bull rush type of guy. Again, big-bodied, lean on you type of guy. Dominant Hall of Famer. And so I think that's how Trayvon and watching him at the end of last year and watching him in camp so far and just seeing small sample of work, I think that's where he's going. And he's so dominant against the run, and he's disruptive. He's violent. And I think that he's going to get better and better at rushing the passer. And I think, again, last year I said they'd have 25. They're going to have at least 25 sacks combined again this year.
Oh, you're not going higher?
Come on, you got to go higher.
Well, I will when it's time before the season. Right. I will.
6'5", 260.
Yeah, Strand was not as heavy as Trayvon.
Not as heavy as that.
We got to go to break. We'll back in a moment. We've got special teams talk ahead.
And we got off-season, too. We still haven't talked to off-season.
We got a whole hour to go.
We do?
What are you worried about?
I thought it was just an hour tonight.
No.
Oh.
Well, you can leave if you want. Pete and I will carry the rest. That'd be the best show of the year.
It usually is.
Hey, Pete, guess what? At some point here in the near future, we're going to get a show without JP. That will be the best show in the history of the franchise.
Wow. Through the roof.
Oh, my goodness. They can't wait for just Pete and I.
Is that I'll turn the radio off.
We're back in a moment. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with Zip Chair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high-quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a Zip Chair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans.
I want that. The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on, so make it your best summer ever with Ford. Now's the best time to get our best deals on a great selection of Ford trucks and SUVs, like the Ford Explorer, the Ford Bronco family, Ford F-Series, and the all-electric F-150 Lightning. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event, so make it yours. Make it now at your Ford dealer today.
We're excited to announce a special activation at select training camps. Join us as we celebrate the Corner at Deb Store, coming soon to the Eastside community. Operated by Goodwill Industries of North Florida, the Deb Store will help change lives in the historic Out East through fresh foods, education, and career opportunities. In partnership with various community partners, this project will create a space where residents can thrive. Watch out for the Deb Store van at select training camps this July and August, where you can enjoy free samples and learn how to support this initiative.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
It was pretty cool. I mean, it's preseason. It doesn't really count. But it was exciting to be able to start off because it's new, it's brand new, and being able to be probably one of the first big returns, that was a cool moment for me, and just want to continue to propel myself with that.
Welcome back, Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Jet Home Loans. That's Parker Washington on the kickoff return. Looking for the MVP of the truck game? Better check out the 2024 Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capability and game-changing tech, you can dominate work, play, and everything in between. Test drive an F-150 at your local Ford dealer. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. JP Shadrick, Tony Baselli, Pete Prisco. Only a couple minutes left before the second hour of the program tonight, but we finish with special teams. 73-yard kickoff return by Washington, 45-yarder from Tank Bigsby, who also had a good night in the running game as well. And then the Jaguars scored a safety when the kickoff went in the end zone, came back out, and then McCole Hardman pulled it back in and kneeled down. They had to review it. And, of course, the Jaguars, it feels like, have a kicker now. The place kicker, the rookie out of Arkansas, Cam Little, has a leg on him. He missed the 62-yarder, but made his other 3 attempts in the game. So, Pete's special teams, pretty good day at the office.
Yeah, and that 62-yarder was long enough.
Oh, it hit the middle of the net.
Oh, I was on the field when that was kicked, and I didn't know how long it was because where I was sitting at the other end, I'm like, I wonder how far this is. And then I saw it go flying with velocity into the net, and I'm like, wow, it's pretty good. I obviously missed it wide left. And when I found out that was a 62-yarder, that's good at 70.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, all day long.
Yep.
Good at 70.
You know, it's interesting. And look, if you look at it on the surface, you could sit here and say, if Washington can return like that, then you need to spend the money on Duvernay.
Yeah, Duvernay.
Yeah, I mean, do you need 2 returners?
You need 2 kickoff
Maybe
returners.
now you do.
Yeah,
Maybe
kickoff
now
returners.
Yep.
Look, I think teams are going to get to the point where they just kick the ball out of the end zone and say, go ahead and start on the 30.
Until they change the rule to 35.
Yeah, I think that's what Sean Payton's point is like make it to 35. Then you are in a pickle.
And they said this is an ongoing process. They could change things as it goes.
It stinks. It's a stupid rule.
Okay, timeout.
Quick, you got a minute, by the way.
Why do you think it's stupid? Real quick, and I'll give you my opinion. I disagree.
Just put the ball on the 25 or 30-yard line and play football.
I love it. You need the kick to be a play. You got to defend it. It's part of the game. And I think the new rule is outstanding. I would tweak it and make it go to the 35 if you kick it deep. I think it's an exciting play. That's what fans want. It's like we're in the entertainment business.
They wanted it safer. You know who's been getting blasted? The returner.
I love it. I think it's great.
We'll continue this discussion, and we'll talk about the offseason that was. That's coming up in the second hour of Jaguars Happy Hour in just a moment.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinders home. How about 2.99% in year 1 in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year 1 and a beautiful new Dreamfinders home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Chelsea here with Renewal by Anderson. Renewal by Anderson specializes in energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors that are twice as tough as vinyl. Save money through the month of August and save $300 on every window and $825 on every patio door. Plus 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Some restrictions apply. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Go to rbfla.com to book your design consultation today. License number CGC 1527613.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on, so make it your best summer ever with Ford. Now's the best time to get our best deals on a great selection of Ford trucks and SUVs, like the Ford Explorer, the Ford Bronco family, Ford F-Series, and the all-electric F-150 Lightning. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event, so make it yours. Make it now at your Ford dealer today.
Are you ready to love how you feel, look, and live in every season? At Elase, we offer more than just luxury med spa treatments. We provide a serene, judgment-free space where you can reconnect with the best version of you. Whether you want to refresh your natural look with Botox or Dysport, pamper yourself with a relaxing hydrofacial, or rejuvenate your complexion with laser resurfacing, our expert team in Jacksonville is here to tailor treatments to your needs. Visit Elase.com today and start your journey to loving yourself.
You love free. And at Ameris Bank, so do we. That's why we're proud to offer worry-free, hassle-free Ameris Bank free checking. Manage your money your way with convenient access to digital, mobile, and telephone banking, all with no monthly service fee or minimum balance requirements. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. For more information or to open an account, visit our local bankers in person or online at amerisbank.com/free checking. Other fees such as overdraft fees may apply. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I think from the day I got here, talking with people, seeing all really the assets we have, it's the potential is just unbelievable. And for me, it was about bringing that all together. So, you know, I'm a deep believer and never doubt Jacksonville, and I think a lot more people now, you know, even outside the city now, know that, you know, our potential is unlimited.
Jaguars owner Shad Khan during the game broadcast Saturday night on the Jaguars television network. Welcome back. The second hour of Jaguars Happy Hour is presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. Before the game, after the game, and during the game. JP Shadrick, Tony Vaselli from the Miller Electric Center, the Hyundai Studios, and Pete Prisco down in South Florida. Your social media questions coming up in a little bit. We'll keep it real, as we always do, and hey, the Jaguars
keep
coming
it real.
up. Yeah, we're going to keep it real. Yeah, the Jaguars.
Everything's been fake until that moment.
So fake. The first hour, fake.
Fake news.
This hour, real. Coming up. Jaguars with a preseason Week 1 win over the Chiefs. Offensive and defensive starters played 2 drives. The Jags did not turn the ball over. Defense logged 5 sacks and 13 quarterback hits in the game. Special teams impacts were felt all night. 2 long kickoff returns and a safety. And now it's on to preseason Week 2. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers come to town. Joint practices Wednesday and Thursday here at the Miller Electric Center. Those tickets are gone, by the way. And it's the final open practices of training camp. Starters expected to get most of their work this week in those practices against the Bucs.
So I want to go back to that clip that we played, bringing it back, second hour with Shad Khan.
Yes. That gives us a transition to our off-season conversation.
So we talked about off-season, 3 big thing kind of areas: stadium, locking up your guys, and then player acquisition. We'll call it draft, free agency. We'll talk about all that. But start with the stadium. You know what hit me watching that? And I've heard Shad talk about this a bunch. How fortunate, and Pete, you have a perspective because you were here from the beginning, how fortunate we've been as a organization and then also as a city to have 2 great owners and the right owners for the right moment. Like what Wayne Weaver and the Weaver family did in leading the way of bringing a team to Jacksonville, and Pete was here when that happened. I was obviously brought in afterwards. Kind of the underdog city, and to make it an NFL town was remarkable. And what he did throughout the life of his time as the owner, he was a great owner. And did a great job. And then even in selling it, to find an owner that was committed to Jacksonville, because Wayne could have done whatever. Jacksonville was important to him. And selling it to Shad Khan, who comes in, no ties to Jacksonville, but literally adopts Jacksonville and believes in the potential of this city, not just from as an NFL city, but also from downtown and infrastructure and investment. It's really remarkable because you don't know what you're going to get from the owner. I mean, and we were fortunate with Wayne. Like I said, he was the owner my whole time here. Was great to work with, great owner. And then when you transition, you sell it, you don't know how a guy coming in who has no real ties to the city, how's him and his family going to view the city? And what the Khan family, led by Shad, have done for this organization, and the latest of getting the stadium approved this offseason with the help of the leadership from the city council and the mayor's office, Mayor Deegan, is tremendous. It's going to change this city. It's going to keep this franchise here for 30-plus more years. It's going to, I believe, going to kick off even more development downtown, from office to housing to restaurants to entertainment to hotels, and going to have a state-of-the-art facility to have all kinds of events, not just NFL on Sundays, concerts and everything else. I sat back watching that little clip as just we were coming back, and I knew this already, but it hit me. I'm like, boy, I'm glad the franchise that I love, that I had no choice when I came here because that's who I drafted me, but have made it my home. That we're fortunate to have two great owners lead this organization and be part of the leadership of the city.
And the amazing thing about it, Tony, is if Wayne Weaver had taken the NFL up on its offer to be the number one owner in St. Louis, there might not be a franchise in Jacksonville.
That's right.
People don't realize that. They went to Wayne and they said, Wayne, we want you, but we want you in St. Louis. And he said no. Wow. He said, I want Jacksonville.
Wow.
And that's how it ended up in Jacksonville. And so Wayne did a heck of a job, was passionate about that team, passionate about the city. And you're right, Shad Khan's done the same thing. For how many years have we heard the stories about going to London and moving to a new city and going here, and the fans don't back him? And look, guys I work with, Jason Lagafor, I've told him, I've argued with him. He owes me dinner because of it. We made a bet. I said they were never going anywhere. And Shad Khan is committed to keeping that team in Jacksonville. And I think it's great for the city. It's great that they need a new stadium. They need to make that thing fresh and new. And I think it's fantastic. But you're right, Tony. They need to build up the city around the stadium. They have to. It's time. I mean, downtown Jacksonville with the river being what it is so underutilized for what it can be. I've always been a big believer that if I was the mayor of that city, I'd get the jail the hell out of there and put it in Cecil Field. I would make develops down there, bars and restaurants, so you can take Uber from the beach or wherever south side and be stuck downtown, but you have options. It's not just 1, 2, 3 places. You have 15 of them. And then, for right now, there's nothing to do down there. You got to make it a destination. I think they will, and I think getting that stadium done will help that.
That's the first time I had heard the Wayne Weaver to St. Louis story, but it's also Shad Khan's story, too. If Stan Kroenke doesn't take the option on the Rams, then Shad Khan's the owner of the Rams in St. Louis.
No, that's what I'm saying. We're fortunate.
It's amazing.
We are fortunate to have two guys who believed in Jacksonville and wanted to make it work here. And I love what Shad said. He goes, I'm a big believer in the future and the potential of Jacksonville. Like he has been from the beginning. And
neither one of them were Jacksonville guys.
No, I'm telling you.
Wayne Weaver wasn't a Jacksonville guy either.
No, we've been fortunate. Two great owners at the right time for the right circumstances. And that goes into the second point. I mean, you look at what we did this offseason with signing Trevor Lawrence. Let's talk about the two that happened in the offseason. First, Trevor Lawrence and Josh Hines-Allen, two blockbuster deals. And basically said, and like that takes yes, salary cap, and yes, the owners make a ton of money in the TV deal, and there's a lot of money and everything else. However, and Pete knows this, and I know JP knows this too, not all owners are created equal when it comes to cash outlay, guaranteed, and what you can do. And the commitment from Shad Khan and the Khan family to invest in Trevor Lawrence and Josh Hines-Allen is big time. And that's like, you got to sign up your stars. It's important for the organization. It's important for the fan base so they have guys they can follow and fall in love with. And then at camp, bring in Tyson Campbell and locking him up to a good deal for both sides. And I just thought that was so important this offseason. And for a while, I didn't know if it was going to get done. I mean, I wish we could have got the Josh Hines-Allen done deal a little bit earlier. Maybe that gives us some freedom, what we did with other people, but so be it. It didn't happen for whatever reason. But getting that done and with Trent as part of the process, lead the way in the front office, and working with Shad and working with Doug and everyone working together to get those two deals done are huge. And then and Tyson Campbell as well. That's you got to have those core players.
And here's the other thing, Tony. You mentioned the cash part of it. Look, Shad Khan is one of the wealthiest owners in the NFL. He can write checks for cash. But here's the difference between a lot of the other wealthy owners, like we used Stan Kroenke as an example. Kroenke has the revenue stream of Los Angeles and that stadium. There's a big difference. The money that comes into a franchise in a city like LA with that stadium compared to what's coming in from the city of Jacksonville is different. And that makes it more of a challenge to come off the hip for the cash for a guy like Shad Khan. So, yeah, I mean, look, you had to do it. You have to lock up your franchise quarterback sooner rather than later. We know this thing's going to keep going up. You have an edge rusher who's coming off an unreal season. He's in his prime. You had to do it. Then we get to the other one. That one is more based on what he can do, Tyson Campbell, than what he's done. I think they're speculating a little bit more on that one than on the other two.
Now, devil's advocate on that, Pete, could you argue that with the quarterback too?
No. If you go back and look at the quarterback's games in the last year over the course of 2 seasons when he was healthy, if you add those numbers up, no.
And I also think you look at the quarterback differently. The question you have to ask yourself, can we envision this guy leading us to a championship?
Right.
And the answer is unequivocal yes with Trevor Lawrence.
Well, here's the other thing about the Campbell and the Hines Allen signings. They're getting what, top 5 money at the position, both of them?
Is Tyson Campbell top 5, Pete? I wasn't sure about that. I know. I believe Josh is.
Yeah, I think he's close. But if he's one of the top 5 paid corners, he's certainly not one of the top 5 corners in the league.
No, not at this point. The way I looked at it and looked at the structure of the deal, and I just full disclosure, it's not like I spent a bunch of time on this comparing, his deal to other corners. But the sense I got, Pete, I thought it was a smart move if you believe that he's your number 1 corner and it can be that for a while, especially in the style of defense that Ryan Nielsen wants to play, because that's a premium position, and he's not going to get any cheaper when he's a free agent. And you know this.
He'll probably get to the 3rd year of that deal, and they'll tear it up because his cap figure is $23.9 million, $24.8 million, and those, so it's
Well, because this, Pete, if they would let him get to free agency, let's just say he's a top 10 corner. Somebody's going to pay him a bunch of money because that's a premium position.
Tyson Campbell now the 7th highest paid average per year corner.
Okay, but is he the 7th best cornerback in the league? So as of right now, he's not.
No, he's not. But Trevor is one of the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks. And if you asked anyone, is he one of the top 5 quarterbacks? No, but that you can't. I think you
made the point earlier. Quarterback's a different position. When you come up, you get it. When you come up, you get it.
I agree with that. However, I also think it's smart that you have to be looking forward, because you can't put yourself in a position as an organization what happened with Josh Hines Allen last year, where you are now at the mercy of either a franchise tag or negotiating against the rest of the league to try to keep your guys. If you believe, and obviously Trent, Doug, and the powers that be believe that Tyson Campbell is your number 1 corner and can be that for the long term, and that he fits how you want to play football and play defense. If that's the case, I'm okay paying a little bit more earlier, because that number is going to grow. And next year, guess what? He'll be about the 12th highest paid corner in the league.
Well, he has to be a top 10 corner this year, though. You would agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're projecting.
He's got to play to a top 10 corner.
That's what you're projecting, no doubt about it. But you know how this works. You can be a top 5, top 7 paid player, whatever the metric is. The next year, you're not going to be that.
It doesn't last long.
It does, because the cap's only going up, and guys are only going to get paid more money, and it's going to, if they go to 18 games, it's going to increase even more. And so,
but of the three, that one was the most eye-opening of the 3 deals.
I wouldn't say it was eye-opening, Pete. It did catch me by surprise that they were that proactive thinking ahead, and I liked it though. I thought it was a good move by Trent, and I thought they did a good job getting him locked up, because I do think he's a top half corner in this league.
Well, he's paid like a top corner.
No, he's paid like a top. No, but think about this, Pete. Hold on.
A top half corner makes you, 32, better than 32 than your top half corner.
No, I said when I was saying he's a top 16, top half number 1 corner. So like out of 32 teams, I think you would say he's one of the top 16 corners in this league.
What is that face? Look at that thing.
Well, I mean, seriously, I don't know. He's 10 to 15.
Well, a year ago, before last year, he was one of the highest rated PFF corners in the NFL.
10 to 15 is still.
I love when Tony loves using PFF. That's what they're good for.
I was hoping you guys wouldn't. I was actually hoping you wouldn't catch that.
Now he's using.
What does the world come to?
I was hoping that would slide by on the down low, Pete.
Man.
Fair enough. I got caught.
By the way, 10-15 is still top 16, Pete.
No, you think he's a 10-15 of the number one corners in the league? Yeah.
Yeah, I
do.
I do.
But here's the problem: some teams have two that are better than him.
I don't know about that.
We've got plenty ahead. We haven't even touched play calling.
Well, we're not going to get to that. I want to talk free agency and draft real quick because I think that was listen, we have not talked about it, and I'd love Pete's opinion because they went. I'll say this on the free agency side, they went with older guys.
Yes.
And there's risk in that. Now, they got good players. Mitch Morris, good player, 10-year guy. Eric Armstead, good player, 10-year guy coming off injuries. Darby, older player. I mean, they went after older guys. Now, Gabe Davis is a fifth-year guy. But
they're all from winning organizations, too.
I'm not saying that. But I don't know if you know this, JP.
That's my name.
Old guys usually don't get healthier, stronger, and faster.
I'm very aware of that. Yes.
It's a young man's game.
It's a young man.
I'm up on that yet.
I'm not being. Don't take this as critical of any of those guys because they're all really good players, and if they are healthy, they make this team better. And so I understand why, but it's not without some
risk.
Well,
you have 10 years better, and you got the natural questions are, what do they have left? I mean, I'll be honest. I was in Buffalo last week, and I asked about Morse, and they liked him. They liked him around. He's a great guy to have in the building. But, some people were wondering how much does he have left and how much will he be committed to it for past a couple years? I mean, that's the issue when you sign guys like that.
But that's how long his deal is, though, right? A couple years. His deal is what, 2-3 years?
Tony's right. 10 years that's a long time in the NFL.
Yeah.
No, my only point is I'm less worried about Mitch Morris because if you look at his career, there's no like glaring injury history.
He had concussions at one point.
He did, but he's been consistent on the field the last several years, Pete, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, he's a good player. But by the way, it's like somebody told me once, long time ago, they wanted to get rid of Tebow in Denver, and the only way they could get rid of him was to sign Peyton Manning. They didn't care if he was healthy or not. It got him out of there. Well, you know what? You got to get somebody in there to get rid of Luke Fortner in the middle of that line to become an effective offense. They got somebody. So if it's for a year or two, they did the right thing.
No, and
we got to go to break here.
Okay,
in a second.
I'm just looking.
Let's wrap it up.
You look at like Eric Armstead. I think Eric Armstead healthy is one of the better three techniques in this league, and he's long and he's a very good pass rusher. He's played on winning teams. He's a physical force, but he's also a 10-year guy coming off a surgery.
And he hasn't practiced yet, right?
Nope, he's not.
And I'm not like I'm a believer in Eric Armstead. I'm just saying when you take that path, that strategy where we're going to go get veteran guys, older guys, winning organizations because we want to change the locker room, we want to change the mentality, we want that winning culture. Those are all positives. I raise my hand, I'm in. And guess what? A lot of times that works, but there's risks with that. And if you look at what we did up front besides that, especially in the offensive line, we didn't do much else. Now, in the defensive line, they did go in the draft and got Mason Smith, and they made some other moves. But that's the one thing that it'll be interesting. Like, that would be my only criticism of the offseason.
We got to come back.
I will say this. I know you got to break, JP. One quick thing. One of those young offensive linemen caught my eye on tape the other day, by the way.
Ooh.
Was it the guy who played right guard, then left guard?
Yes.
Yep.
Ooh.
That guy needs to play.
I was going to say, well, let's come back to the offensive line because I'm with you, Pete, but where do you play him and whose job does he take?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to keep it real when we come back. That might be a good keeping it real.
No, I think it's great. And I want to make sure, before we go to break,
yes,
I'm not being critical of Eric Armstead, Mitch Morris, or their signings at all. They're starting caliber. They make you better. My only point is when you sign 10-year guys that have history, like, that's always a concern. Now,
well, then you are being critical.
That means they're trying to.
No, but Pete, do you disagree with me? I'm not being.
No, I agree with you, but we're being critical.
We're making it okay. Fair enough.
Mr. Chubby's brought in
Chubby
style wings tonight, chicken wraps for our production staff. Tony, that's for you as well. If you'd like to get out there and have some Mr. Chubby's wings before the game, after the game, and during the game. We'll keep it real when we come back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
To aim higher, run faster. It's what elite athletes do. Always strive for better. At UF Health, we have that same DNA. To not just treat a stroke, but to create a fleet of mobile stroke treatment units. To not just do research, but to use AI to save lives with one of the most powerful supercomputers in academia. We believe, like athletes, that human progress has no finish line. UF Health, National Medical Center for Team USA.
Jacksonville Builders score big with DL Cabinetry. As the official cabinet supplier of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they offer top quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry for any project. Enjoy fast turnaround, complimentary design, and great prices. Visit dlcabinetry.com today to learn more and to become a dealer. Limited spots available. DL Cabinetry, the winning choice for builders.
Facing cancer takes a lot of determination, strength, and support. And you'll get it all at Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center. Determination from world-renowned doctors, giving you specialized treatment with cutting-edge technology and research. Strength and support from a dedicated team, caring for you completely, during and after treatment. Don't face cancer with anything less than the team at Baptist MD Anderson. Appointments available at baptistmdanderson.com.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbq.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with Zip Chair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high-quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a Zip Chair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. Live like a VIP with a Daily's Place Blue membership. You'll see John Legend, Jane's Addiction, Creed, Alanis Morissette, and so much more. And you'll enjoy guaranteed seats in the best locations, premium parking, a VIP entrance, and club access. For more, email ticketing at boldevents.com or call 904-633-2000. JP Shadrick, Tony Baselli from the Miller Electric Center, the Hyundai Studios. Pete Prisco down in South Florida. Time for Keeping It Real, presented by, well, it's available this year. We've got a couple of topics tonight. We start with the offensive line, as Tony referenced earlier, and we got our first look at guys in the game, and the most offensive snaps for the offensive line, Cole Van Lanen and Cooper Hodges each played 49 snaps in the game, 84% of the offensive snaps. Luke Fortner got 34 snaps, 59%. Walker Little, who started at right tackle, played 30 snaps in the game. Javon Foster, the addition from Missouri in the draft, 48%. And Shatley got a bunch of snaps at guard. The starters, Robinson, Morse, and Sheriff, each had 9 snaps and left the game. And, of course, Anton Harrison out with a concussion, and left guard Ezra Cleveland did not play in the game. So you guys referenced a player who played right guard and left guard in the game.
Well, based on what you just said, Cooper Hodges, I was impressed. And, you know, he got hurt last year. He had a good camp till he got hurt. This camp, I think he had something bother him early. I don't know if it was ever disclosed, but there was something he felt like, and I remember watching, it was some limitations or something. He played during camp. He's played center. He's played guard, a lot of center. That's what Jeff has told me. I haven't seen as many practices as he has. And so I was really interested to see what he did when he came into the game, because he is a big, powerful man. Like, he is strong. And I think one of the criticisms that I had last year of this team was that we struggled to move the ball, move the line of scrimmage, control the line of scrimmage, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1, goal line situations. Played a lot of 2-point stance, and we didn't really displace the defensive line very often. Watching Hodges, he moves people. He is physical. He's a big, strong man. And if it continues, I think you got to find a way to get him on the field. Now, it's one preseason game. We'll see what he does during he's really a rookie if you think about it, because he's not played any NFL games. It'll be interesting to see how he matches up against the Bucs in these 2 practices. He's going to get a lot of reps because I don't think the starters are going to play much in the game, so that means he's going to play a lot. But early indications, very positive, and that's what you need to do. I mean, he mid-round pick, smaller school, will play tackle in college. You bring him in, he's a guard, and he has a physicality that can help you win football games, and I thought he played well.
Yeah, I thought he was really physical. Playing right, and he looked more comfortable on the right side, Tony. I thought he looked much more comfortable on the right side. Really got into people, moved them in the run game, got off his blocks and got to the second level, which, again, sometimes when you're a big, powerful guy, that's not necessarily a strength of yours, and they want to do a lot of that. So I was impressed, and look, if he continues to play like that, dare we say it, that maybe he's a starter?
So who do you bench?
I know where I would go. I'd play him at right guard.
Paying a lot of money for your right guard, Pete, to have him as a backup.
Okay, but you said something before that I thought was very telling about the right guard isn't as physical as he used to be.
No, I mean he's played a lot of football.
10th-year player.
A lot of football. He doesn't.
Well,
he's not this. He's not. He's a different. He's a
if
different.
Trevor was
player.
on another team, he'd sign him to a deal next year.
I mean, like if I
you guys didn't laugh at that one, did you?
I'm trying.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I'm trying to be nice, Pete, and not engage in your ridiculous comments. But I mean, if you look at Brandon Sheriff, he is a veteran leader, really smart football player. He's a pro's pro. I think he's still a very good. What?
All of the above.
I still think he is a good pass blocker. He's not. He's never going to be in the wrong position. He's not going to have missed assignments. But he's not a road grader. He doesn't have the legs that he once did. He's not going to, move people like a Cooper Hodges. It's not his game anymore. And but he's still a good football player. So, I mean, and they signed Ezra Cleveland in the offseason. They paid him some money to be a starter as well. There's only 5 spots. There's only 2 guards.
But don't you think Hodges looked better on the right side than he did on the left, though?
I'd have to watch it closer, Pete. That didn't jump out at me.
Go watch it.
Yeah.
Go watch it. You'll see.
But
I thought
what jumped out at me is his physicality.
No doubt.
That's what jumped out at me. So now it's early, small sample size. Listen,
and he wasn't exactly playing Chris Jones either.
No, he was not. And so like how does he handle a elite? Like we know that Brandon Sheriff against elite 3 techniques can manage the situation and is savvy enough to figure out how to, play against a guy like that just because of his instincts, his knowledge, his, everything about him, and he's athletic.
But on the surface, looking at the two and the way their style of play is, if you want to be a better running team, which they want to be, he would seem to be more apt to be that guy that would amp up the run game.
I would agree with that. I just don't. I mean, you're gonna have by the way, this is what you want. This is a good sign that you're a good team. Like you want hard decisions like that to be in front of you. Like we have multiple guys that we think are starters. How do we organize this, and what gives us the best opportunity to play the style of football that we want to play?
What'd you think of the left tackle? the starter.
Small. I mean,
fine. Just okay. What'd you think of Walker Little at right tackle?
Same thing, fine. I mean, I thought it was fine. No, I mean, I wasn't jumping out of my chair going, that was amazing, but there was nothing that you watch and like, oh my gosh, we're in trouble. I mean,
no.
So, I mean, you always got to be careful, I think, with the veterans sometimes in these early preseason games.
Yeah.
You know, how much juice did Cam really go out there?
Right, yeah.
Like,
when it gets real, he always has it.
He has the juice. Now, did he?
But Tony, you played the preseason sometimes, and if you didn't have the same juice, but when you lined up, you're not going to let somebody beat you either.
No. That's why I hated preseason, because you go in there with not as much juice. You're trying to just, you know, I mean, if I'm being honest, there's times I'm like, you're counting the plays to get through the quarter or the half or whatever, because, you know, it's not about winning or losing per se. I mean, overall you want to win the game, but you're not going to be in it to impact it. And so really you're going out there to try to get good work, put good film on it, on tape. I mean, put good work on film. And the other thing is I didn't want to be embarrassed, because I knew I was going to have to watch it with Mike Mazur the next day. I had no desire to have my, ripped. And then there's just professional pride. You're stepping on the field, and that the other 31 teams are going to see this. But it's harder. I mean, if I'm being honest, Pete, it was harder. As a veteran, I didn't I'm like, my goodness, like, we're going to go out there, especially if like you're playing some young guy who's trying to do something impressive. I'm like, listen, I'm just trying to get my work in. Like,
he's trying to go to the Pro Bowl in preseason.
I'm like, come on. And I'll tell Pete, I'll tell a story. My second year, and I'll be quick because I know we're playing the Rams in the preseason, and Leslie O'Neal is the right end in the preseason. And, growing up in the AFC West, he was a San Diego Charger forever, Pro Bowl player, All-Pro, like one of the best, really good right end, top right end. And I remember going to the game, I was like, I was a little anxious and nervous, like, hey, I got a good player. And I went and just wore him out in the preseason. I mean, I was like, come on. What's going on here? We played him 7 weeks later in the regular season, and I'll never forget the first series. It was a different dude. I walked to the sideline. I'm like, okay, this is a different guy I'm playing. Because, I went to the game like, I know this guy. I feel good. I mean, it's not me a problem. And it was a fist fight for 60 minutes against Leslie O'Neal, because he dialed it up. It was a different pace and everything else, which I should have known. It was my second year. But as a veteran guy, you got to be careful not to take it too easy or too lackadaisical. You have to bring enough energy. Because, one, it's a dangerous game. You don't want to get hurt. You don't want to get someone else hurt. And you don't want to look like a fool on the field. So, but that's a long way of saying, Cam, like, was it great? Was it bad? It's like, okay, he went out, got some work in.
9 plays.
Give me the 5 starting offensive linemen on opening day.
It's going to be, if right now I'm going to say Cam left, Ezra left guard, Mitch center, Brandon right guard, and Anton Harrison right tackle.
Okay, give me the starting lineup 6 weeks in.
Pete, I don't know. I'm not going down that path.
I think, because we've heard all about Cooper Hodges, and so I was like a little, sometimes you hear the.
I was so tired of Jeff Loggeman has a man crush on Cooper Hodges.
It's unbelievable. When I was there, he was talking about it. It's like,
I'm like, Jeff, stop.
And then when I watched the tape, I went, yeah.
And I hate admitting that Loggeman's right about anything. But he was dead on that one, man. I was like,
he was.
Credit
due.
If
he carries over, at some point, he's got to get on the field.
Well, if he plays like that, Pete, yes.
Yeah. That is keeping it real. And we're back in a moment with Fanatics fan questions and plenty more ahead in the final half hour of Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game. We're excited to announce a special activation at select training camps. Join us as we celebrate the Corner at Deb Store, coming soon to the Eastside community. Operated by Goodwill Industries of North Florida, the Deb Store will help change lives in the historic Out East through fresh foods, education, and career opportunities. In partnership with various community partners, this project will create a space where residents can thrive. Watch out for the Deb Store van at select training camps this July and August, where you can enjoy free samples and learn how to support this initiative.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with Everbank. Open an Everbank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. Everbank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything. Jaguars Happy Hour continues. Our second hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. JP Shadrick, Tony Baselli from the Miller Electric Center in the Hyundai Studios after preseason week 1. A Jaguars win over the Chiefs. It's on to week 2. The Buccaneers come to town for Wednesday, Thursday joint practices. Then the game Saturday night at the bank. The Buccaneers and the Jaguars coming up. Time now for the Fanatics. Oh, yeah, Pete Prisco's here, too. He's down in South Florida.
Hey, by the way, real quick before this, so our sponsor for Keeping It Real is gone.
Yes, Bob is no longer around.
And Bob never sent us a damn thing,
Not
did he?
a damn
We
thing.
didn't get anything.
And
Zero.
so now they're not a sponsor, we can technically rip into them for that, not sending us anything.
You have the floor, Pete.
But okay, but
No,
let's just
don't mention it. Don't even bring it
I'm
up.
not gonna say anything, but let's tell the city of Jacksonville. Somebody out there wants to sponsor that segment, don't they? Come on, our big listening audience.
Oh, it's not sponsored yet? I didn't pay attention.
You didn't miss the part that I said it's available?
No, I didn't.
You don't listen?
I don't listen to you very often.
Have we
Chris
met?
doesn't listen.
No,
He's
you
trying
would
to
think
pronounce-
Pete,
He's
he
trying
would.
to pronounce Keenan
McCardell. I got it, Pete.
Jimmy Smythe was the other wide receiver.
Wow.
No, I said
What
Jimmy
a crew.
Smith. First of all, Heinz Walker does not exist on the planet.
Okay, but I didn't play with him either.
No, you just interviewed the both of them.
You had 12 years with the guy.
Let's get to the Fanatics fan questions. Jaguars fans gear up at Fanatics.com with all the latest Jags style. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything. We put the cat signal on X earlier today. Here's the best we've come up with.
It was blowing up. My
At Seth
feed.
C. Payne. Tony, it's hard to believe you and Pete are the same species.
We're not. I'm a grown man, and Pete is a little person.
I'm a short person, but I'm not a little person. I'm a short person.
Oh, I was trying to. I was going to say short because you used to be short and wide. Now you're just short and little.
Well, you used to be tall and wide. Now you're tall and thin. I mean,
Fair enough. There's a little height discrepancy there.
Seth Payne, of course, former Jaguars defensive tackle, now a radio host down in Houston, right?
Pete, how much weight have you lost?
About 40-something.
That's pretty good. Do you want to lose any more?
Yeah, close. It depends what the doctor says. If he says yes, then I'll go. If he says no, I won't.
Okay.
I got an appointment in 2 weeks.
JP,
we'll keep track of that.
You might want to start keeping track too. For yourself.
So cruel.
I'm not. What are you talking about, man? All of a sudden, the first time in a decade, you're a skinny guy, and now you're
2 decades.
passing judgment.
It's actually like 3 decades.
Personal attacks.
It's been I was skinny last year. I haven't lost that much weight from last year.
Yes, you have.
I have not, Pete.
Right. It's a shame. It's a shame we didn't get to take the picture this year because then we could have seen how skinny
Pete,
he is.
in that picture last year, I weighed probably 250, 252.
And for those just joining us, I put the picture from last year of us three together on X today. Yes.
And I was
I'm smaller than that in that pic than I was in that picture.
Yeah, I was probably 252 there, and I'm 242, 245 now. I mean, I'm
smaller than that too, for the record.
No, you're not. Not really.
Next question. At Jinja Ninja 58, did the Jags do enough on the O-line? How much of the run game struggles is personnel versus scheme?
Well, listen, I mean, Pete and I are both the same on this one. It's about Jimmys and Joes, not X's and O's. And obviously coaching's important and technique's important. I think Phil Rauscher's a very good offensive line coach. And so now, do I think they needed to put their hand in the dirt a little bit more than they did last year? Yeah. I mean, I've said that to Phil. I mean, but they had a philosophy that what they were trying to do offensively and what they thought they could do. Great. I think they changed it this year. They're going to be more hand in the ground. So if you want to call that, technique or philosophy or scheme, that's fair. But if you look at what they did, I mean, let's call it what it is. They felt like they're good enough up front except for the center. Because they're rolling out the same offensive line outside of the center. And so they basically said the
center stood straight up last year. This guy doesn't. That's the difference.
Pete, I think we agree. But I think the organization agrees. I mean, all you can do is judge it by what they did this offseason. And they basically said our room is good enough as is, except for the center. And we're going to bring in a veteran center to fill that hole. And at the same time, develop some of these younger guys like Cooper Hodges and so on and so forth. You always got to be doing that. But as far as coming out of the last game last year, and they evaluated the offseason and they evaluated personnel between Trent and Doug, and in this case, I'm sure Phil Rauscher, the offensive line coach, had a voice. And they looked at their room and said, we just need to upgrade the center. And we are good enough to win and win a championship. Because that's the goal. I mean, the goal is to win.
And win now with all these veteran players.
And I didn't hear it, but I've heard people tell me on the broadcast, our owner, Shad Khan, was pretty clear on the broadcast, like, we're here to win now. I mean, I didn't hear the whole thing, but that's what I was told by people who did listen. I'm sure you heard it, JP, correct?
I did not. No.
You did not? Okay.
I was in the stadium.
That's right. You were in the stadium. Yeah. But I think the emphasis is like, we're going to win now. And they felt like the only change they needed to make to do that is change the center out. So it's the same group with a new center. And do I think it's an upgrade?
It might have a new right guard.
Right now, it's the same group with a new center. And do I think Mitch Morse is a better center than Luke Fortner? I do. Do I think he makes them better? I do. Do I think they'll be better in the run game and pass game and protection because of him? I do.
And plus, you got to assume the growth of Harrison at right tackle.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the only young player you're expecting to get better.
Well, the growth of Cooper Hodges at right guard.
As I said, going in. Obviously, they believe in Cooper Hodges, and I do too, especially after what I saw on
Ezra's
Saturday
not a
night.
physical guy. Ezra Cleveland's, he's more of an athletic guy. You can get moving.
He is good at the next level. He's athletic, but there's Ezra has a little nastiness to him. He's a tough guy.
He's not an overpowering guy.
No. But that's the bet they made in the offseason.
Right. I think they'll be better just because the center's not in there.
I do too.
Next question. At Tartan Teal, buzzing that the show is back, fellas. Which second-year guy are you expecting to make the biggest jump this season? You mentioned a few second-year guys. Who makes the biggest jump of year 2 players?
We've talked enough about Cooper Hodges, and I don't know if he's going to be a starter, so set him aside. Offensively, I'm going to go with Tank Bigsby.
He looked good the other
that's
night.
Easy. He did look good.
I think he's going to make the biggest jump. And I think they are going to, we heard a lot about in the offseason about onboarding of players and so on and so forth. I think they have a plan, and they're going to stick to it with Tank. And I think he's going to be a big part of the offense. So I think he'll make a huge jump. And then I think defensively it's going to be Antonio Johnson.
When you looked at Bigsby, he was much more decisive in the other night. You remember Tony last year, and we were critical of him the times where he tried to bounce stuff.
Yeah, I thought he was really good, Pete. And I'll tell you this: if the turf monster doesn't get him, he takes that touchdown, that kickoff for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean,
he looked much more decisive.
He's looked great in camp, and he looked good on Saturday night. So those are the two guys I'd go with.
I would agree with you on both of them.
Easy enough. Final question. At Dylan_Kiernan, can Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker combine for 30-plus sacks? Last year, Tony, you said 25, and they were over that. 27.5, right?
At 27.5, they led the league.
As a duo. Would you dare go 30-plus?
I'm not going to go 30-plus.
Why not?
Because
but you know what's funny? Tony said 25 last year, and I laughed at him, and I said if they get 25, they're going to be in the Super Bowl. Well, they got 25, and they weren't close to it.
They didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah. So because Josh Hines-Allen's probably not getting his 17.5. His has probably come down a little bit, and Trayvon Walker's might go up a little bit, not significantly. So I'm with Tony. I don't think they get to 30. I think they're like between 25 and 30.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Pete. Here's the wild card, though, because they had 27.5 between the two of them. They only had 40 as a team.
Right.
So that means only 12.5 came from everyone else.
Are there other sources this year that they didn't have?
This is where I think they could hit even bigger numbers than 25. Eric Armstead's healthy because he's going to push the pocket, and that's going to lead to sacks by the outside guys. And another guy we have not talked about, but I've been impressed with what I've seen so far in camp, is Mason Smith.
I love him.
I loved him.
He is coming out
violent and physical and long.
And held up against the double team the other day pretty well.
Yeah, I'm like, now it's a lot. I'm not putting a number on what he'll do because that's a lot for a rookie. But I do think he's going to be disruptive in the middle and can add push. And the way the rush lurks, if you can push the middle, it makes it a lot easier for those guys on the outside to get home.
Tony, he was a giant recruit, was really on the verge of stardom, tore up that knee, came back last year, and the early tape, when I watched it, wasn't very good. But by the end of the season, he started to look like himself again. I think that kid has all the ability to be a star inside player. I really do. He's got the size.
He's violent,
powerful.
Pete. He's violent.
Yes.
He's strong, physical.
Which brings me to this part of that.
Love it.
Why was 95 in the game late in the fourth quarter?
95 is Roy Robertson Harris.
We talked to Jeff and I were looking at each other. I've heard, so what I'm about to say is my speculation. I've heard nothing from anybody. But being around this league a long time, when your former starting 3 technique, who I believe they re-signed, redid his deal in the offseason, so that tells you they believe he's a foundational piece, at least for this year. When he is playing late in the third, maybe into the fourth, if I'm not mistaken.
It was in the fourth. He
played 18 snaps in the game total.
So when he's playing into the second half, into the fourth quarter, in the first preseason game, my little spidey senses go off and like, something's going on here. That means that the front office and the coaching staff, or some combination, either one of them or both, are not happy with the camp that he's having so far. And to me, that's lighting a little fire and saying, hey, we need to see more because there's no guarantees in this on this roster.
But what can you do with him, though? Because if you cut him, you take a giant cap hit on that?
I don't know, Pete, but I was shocked to see him in the game. And I was shocked to see him in the second half. And all of a sudden, in the fourth quarter, there's Roy Robinson-Harris, our starting defensive end, and that will be a 3 technique this year.
I'm curious how he practices this week against the Bucs.
I'm curious about the whole dang thing because that caught me by surprise. Yeah. I've not heard anything.
Well, there must be other guys that they really like too in there, like that. Like you mentioned Smith, but 90 did some good things a little bit too.
What's his name, Pete?
I'm not saying it. Is Zeki?
No. Isaezi Otomewo.
Say that again, JP. Say, come on. Let's go. Let's get this out.
Otomewo. That's it. Otomewo.
But he did some flashed a little bit too. There's got to be
Otomewo.
Yeah.
And 93 was Marshall.
I got that one right. I was wanting to see you guys butcher it.
Hey, Tony, what about Marshall? He did some decent things too. Was it 93? Is that who it was?
No, 93 is Tyler Lacey. Marshall's 96.
96. He did a couple good things too.
Yeah, listen, my comment, I was just shocked to see Roy in that late. Mm-hmm. And I don't know anything. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe that was the plan all along. Maybe he knew about it. I just know history, looking back on history and teams I are a part of, when all of a sudden you see a veteran guy that was a starter and you expected to be a starter or vie for a starting job and play in the fourth quarter of the first preseason game, you're like, that's interesting.
Let's come back in a moment. We'll take a look at joint practices next week. And we haven't even touched on the big fan topic of the offseason. One of them, the play calling.
You want to hit that next? Because I got some very strong comments about that.
I do as well, I think. We'll come back in a moment. And this is Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
We're excited to announce a special activation at select training camps. Join us as we celebrate the Corner at Deb Store, coming soon to the Eastside community. Operated by Goodwill Industries of North Florida, the Deb Store will help change lives in the historic Out East through fresh foods, education, and career opportunities. In partnership with various community partners, this project will create a space where residents can thrive. Watch out for the Deb Store van at select training camps this July and August, where you can enjoy free samples and learn how to support this initiative.
Jacksonville builders score big with DL Cabinetry. As the official cabinet supplier of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they offer top quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry for any project. Enjoy fast turnaround, complimentary design, and great prices. Visit dlcabinetry.com today to learn more and to become a dealer. Limited spots available. DL Cabinetry, the winning choice for builders.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on, so make it your best summer ever with Ford. Now's the best time to get our best deals on a great selection of Ford trucks and SUVs, like the Ford Explorer, the Ford Bronco family, Ford F-Series, and the all-electric F-150 Lightning. These are the deals you've been waiting for, so don't wait. It's the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event, so make it yours. Make it now at your Ford dealer today.
Flight by Yuengling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Yeah, you're right. You get to pick the situations, the scenarios. It's very controlled. There's no live tackling or anything like that. It's, but they're physical practices. But you can get quite a bit out of them.
Doug Peterson earlier today discussing the joint practices ahead this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. From the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center, J.P. Shadrick, Tony Baselli, and Pete Prisco. And for 11 years, Dreamfinders Homes has been proud to call themselves the official home builder of the Jags. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all the available inventory and go Jags. A big off-season topic outside of this building has been Jaguars offensive play calling and who will actually do it. Press Taylor was on the field Saturday night calling plays. Doug Peterson said earlier in training camp that, yes, he will call the plays in the preseason. They haven't made a determination in the regular season. I think it's the most overblown topic in the last decade. 2 years ago, Press Taylor's a genius in the second half of the season calling plays in the comebacks in December. Nobody knew he was doing it. Last year, he can't coach football anymore, apparently. How did that change all of a sudden? And he should be calling the plays, Tony.
I mean, that's up to Doug.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's my opinion.
Here's my opinion. I think Doug is a very good coach and a heck of a play caller. I think Press Taylor is a very good coach and a heck of a play caller. So I don't think you can go wrong with either one. They just got to decide what, ultimately it's Doug's call, what he thinks best for the organization and gives them the best chance to win. But as far as I'm concerned, I tend to agree with you, JP. I mean, it's amazing. Like, everyone was jumping up and down for joy when we're coming back and scoring points and doing all the things we did the second half of that season.
And nobody knew he was doing it.
And no one knew he was doing it. I still don't understand how that got leaked or why it got leaked or for any reason that all of a sudden there was some big major change going on last year right before the Colts game. I think, and here's the other thing. The way play calling goes in the NFL, for the most part, it's mostly decided during the week as a staff, what you like, what are your top plays in this situation, first, second down, third down, goal line, short yardage, third and long, so on and so forth. You put all this together as a staff, then you work with your quarterback. You take that to your quarterback and say, hey, Trevor, what do you like? What are you comfortable with? He goes through it. Then you rank them. You get back to the staff together and say, okay, here's our first 15 plays. That's what you're going to call. Here's our first top 3 third and 7+. Here's our first, top 3 or 5, 4 to 7 or 3 to 7. And here's our top, 5 short yardage. Here's our goal line. Here's our red zone. It's all laid out. And you're
yeah, but there's a rhythm to it.
I'm not saying there's not a rhythm, but Pete, you're calling it off the call sheet that you guys have all agreed upon. And the start of the game is all scripted.
But there are guys that are great play callers and guys who aren't great play callers. It doesn't matter what the script says.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, but I'm just saying, I want to make sure everyone understands how this is put together as mechanically during the week. Like, every team does that, Pete, correct? I mean,
well, here, see this thing here? This is a highlighter. They should X off the section that says bubble screen, bubble screen, bubble screen, bubble screen, bubble screen, bubble screen.
Okay.
Third down, bubble screen. Fourth down, bubble screen.
Okay, you can get in and be silly and do these individual things.
But I'm just being serious. I think they part of the problem last year was they were handcuffed, and whoever was calling the plays.
Let me get to that, because here's the other thing, and I said this on Monday morning. I guess, was that last week, or maybe it was I don't know when I said it. But anyways, it's really hard to call plays when you can't get 3rd and 1. It's really hard when you can't run through between the tackles consistently because you can't move anyone an inch. It's hard when really your only plays are pick and pulls and you're trying to move and try to create leverage points to get outside. It's hard to call plays in the red zone, tight red zone, especially where all the passing lanes are really tight when you can't run it. So, it's
hard to call plays when your quarterback's sped up. It's hard to call plays when your receivers aren't big play threats down the field, which is why they went out and got 2 of them.
And, by the way, The other way you look at it is, I'm with what you said, JP. I don't think Press Taylor forgot how to call plays.
Yeah, less than a minute, by the way.
And so he understood, everyone loved him, and they didn't have a great year offensively. And I think it's a mistake to point the finger at one guy. That's not how it works. Doug is a part of the process. The whole coaching staff is part of the process. Trevor Lawrence is part of the process. And whoever they have calling plays, whether it's Doug or Press, I don't care. I think both will do a great job.
Great first show. Pete, we'll talk to you again next week.
You got it.
Pete Prisco, CBS Sports, Tony Baselli, Hall of Famer. I'm JP Shadrick. Thanks to Joe Fortunato, Brent Reber, David Cho, Nick Cortez, our entire crew. And welcome back. It is Jaguars Happy Hour.